Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Yeah, let's do it. What's up? Happy Friday to y'all. How y'all feeling?
Blessed, black, and highly favored. How you, Morgan?
Good, girl.
All right, I'm doing good. Let's get into it. So, this group chat is growing legs, isn't it? The story where the journalist was added to the group chat with intelligence officials, well, that continues to develop, especially among those in Congress. A federal judge is ordering Trump and his administration, the agencies, to keep the messages sent on the Signal app after military attack plans were accidentally shared with a journalist. Now, Judge James Boasberg ruled the agencies must preserve text from March 11th through March 15th. The Justice Department said they are working to track down and keep messages from that time period.
For what? Because ain't nobody going to be fired, so what's the point? I mean, it's one thing if they was keeping it because they was going to, have some evidence to build a case to get somebody up out of there, but ain't nobody getting fired for this?
Well, this comes after an advocacy group sued, claiming department secretaries and intelligence chiefs ignored federal records laws by using the auto-delete features on the app. Now, Republicans have been downplaying the breach, which saw officials including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, the National Security Advisor, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, discussing airstrikes in Yemen. Now, the editor of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, was somehow added to the chat, which mentions times and methods of the Houthi rebels' targets. So, to your point, yeah, Charlamagne, we will see what happens with it. But meanwhile, House Speaker Mike Johnson says a House investigation into this doesn't seem necessary. He believes the coverage. Yeah, he believes the coverage on the incident has actually been overblown. Let's hear those comments from Speaker Johnson.
I haven't had a chance to review all that, but I'll tell you that the National Security Team is doing an extraordinary job. They have accomplished that mission. It was a success. The President has full trust in Mike Waltz, and I do as well, as a former colleague and someone I've known a long time. It's been overblown, I think, by the media. I think this was a mistake. It was acknowledged as such. I'm certain it will not happen again.
Yeah, I truly can't believe there's going to be no consequences for this situation. Like, this should have been an immediate firing. All this classified information being discussed on Signal, and nobody is getting fired. And, this has not been overblown. In fact, it hasn't been blown up enough.
Mm-hmm. So, so the Republican, and in fact, this has now become a bipartisan issue. The Republican chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi, he says his panel wants an inspector general investigation into the leak of sensitive data. In the Senate, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to be fired. Now, Schumer spoke out about the reported military plans being discussed on that Signal app. Let's take a listen to Charlamagne's favorite Democratic senator to hate on. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
This is one of the most stunning breaches of military intelligence I have read about in a very, very long time. It's bad enough that a private citizen was added to this chain, but it's far worse that sensitive military information was exchanged on an unauthorized application.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right. He's absolutely right. And this is incompetence at the highest level. And this isn't a Democrat or Republican thing. It's an American thing. There's no American that should be okay with this.
I wonder how much other things were sent on that app that we just don't know about.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's essentially probably why they want to reserve or preserve those texts. So House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, he also wrote a letter to President Trump demanding Hegseth be fired, saying he recklessly and casually disclosed highly sensitive war plans. And of course, the Pentagon's chief spokesperson, Hegseth, continues to reiterate that there was no classified materials or war plans shared. So we will continue to see how this plays out. In the meantime, that's your front page news for 6 a.m. At 7 a.m. Envy, can we talk about what's going on with your G-Man?
The Giants?
Yeah.
Of course, we can do that next time. I'm cool with that.
All right,
you gotta say it. You gotta say Giants, Morgan. You can't just say G-Men on this show.
Right?
Damn, and we talking about gay men this early?
Yeah, that's why I take a step back. Like, whoa. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Again, 800-585-1051. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Yeah, Envy, I know you like to start with sports sometimes, but what's going on with your team up there, your football team? And I got you. So Russell Wilson, who just days ago signed with the Giants, he believes he is the best option to start for his new team. The Giants' new signal caller was introduced to the media in a presser on Wednesday, and he said he expects to be the starting quarterback. Let's take a listen to Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I expect to be the starter and come in here and be ready to rock and roll every day. I think to be able to lead, I think this team's really looking for somebody to lead them in every way in terms of the process, in the off season, during the season, our habits and our thought process and how we create a great winning culture and how do we continue to establish that and to really build on things that we do well and the things that we continue to need to do.
I think New York's going to be wicked, man. Like, I can't wait to, get in the Giants locker room and get wild.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we're going to get crazy.
I mean, I think Russell Wilson, I think he still has some gas in the tank. But, he's older. He's 36, 37 years old. He's, on the tail end of his career. I hope that the Giants pick a quarterback. I know they were talking about getting a lineman and offensive lineman, but I would like Shador.
Let's be clear. Russell Wilson had a great year last year.
He did.
What's going to cause Russell Wilson, career to come to an end is playing for the New York Giants.
Right? Oh, wow.
Or the Dallas Cowboys, either or.
That's going to be the problem. Okay.
That's that daggone NFC
look,
East.
Quick question about that though. Like, all right, maybe y'all can answer this for me. So do you get to pick where you want to go, like when you've been in the league long enough, or do you just have they just like give you away or trade you themselves? Like you don't have no say in where you go?
No, you can say it, but he didn't.
Okay.
He didn't.
Yeah, it depends. If your contract's over, then you can decide where you want to sign with. Sometimes they have no trade clauses. You can go where you want to go.
Or you can force a trade. Like, I want to be traded to such and such.
Right,
that don't
yeah.
mean that they'll do it, but you can say it.
Right. Right. So Wilson, who did win Super Bowl 48 as a member of the Seattle Seahawks at MetLife Stadium, he officially joined the G-Men, or the Giants, less than a week after the team signed veteran QB Jameis Winston as a free agent. New York also re-signed Tommy DeVito earlier this offseason. So to get another quarterback in the draft, and Shador Sanders at that, Envy, whoo, you got big dreams.
I didn't know Jameis Winston signed with the Giants.
Yeah, he signed with the Giants. They re-signed DeVito. But I just think you got too many quarterbacks at this point. That just tells me that they might not be going for Shador, which is a stupid situation. Shador's young. He's talented. He's somebody that can hold down that franchise for a long time. I like Russell. I love Russell, actually. I think Russell got some more gas in that tank, but I just don't know if I would not draft Shador.
By the way, Jameis Winston being drafted by the Giants, fantastic signing. Not for the Giants, but for New York media. This is where Jameis Winston needs to be to further his media career. You hear me? Jameis Winston in New York with New York media is going to be incredible.
Now, don't get it twisted. We got some weapons, so we'll see. It should be an interesting year. I mean, we'll go further than the Cowboys.
Ooh, he said that early. All right, so in other news, y'all, let's get back to the political spectrum. Elon Musk, he says he doesn't think he'll be working at the Department of Government Efficiency much longer. He spoke to Fox News, and he said he believes Doge will reach their goal amount of government waste fraud removed within his 130-day mandate. Let's take a listen to Elon Musk.
We are cutting the waste and fraud in real time. So every day that passes, our goal is to reduce the waste and fraud by $4 billion a day, every day, 7 days a week. Well, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame.
So 130 days is the legal time frame given to a special government employee, that is what Musk is. He's not an elected official, to stay on the job, only 130 days. And so he's coming up on that time. He believes, of course, as he mentioned in the audio, that they can cut the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame stated.
There's no way he is going to cut $1 trillion from the federal government without doing irreparable damage to our society. And you're not going to cut that type of money if you're not going to the Department of Defense. If you're not making cuts in the Department of Defense, if you're not making cuts in the Pentagon, not making cuts to our military, you're not getting nowhere near that number. You're just going to end up firing a whole bunch of people, cutting a whole bunch of jobs that people need to be doing.
Well, that's been the case. That's essentially what Doge is doing, and then only for some of the judges to turn around and then reinstate those workers. So we will see. Yeah, I can't imagine that this is going to be cleaned up to what Musk is saying. In other news, the FAA is telling Congress it must do more to ensure flying remains safe following that mid-air collision over Washington, D.C. that killed 67 people on January 29th. Now, the agency's acting administrator, Chris Chris Rushlow. He told a Senate hearing yesterday, we have to get smarter about how we use data, adding safety investigating must evolve. Let's hear more from Chris Rushlow, the FAA acting administrator.
Something was missed at the DCA crash. I take that seriously. I take that upon myself. Something was missed. And since that time, we've been using new tools available to us, artificial intelligence, machine learning.
Yeah, so investigators have highlighted 85 close calls around Reagan, DCA, for those who know the codes, over the last 3 years before the crash. But Rushlow admits alarming trend was missed. So, yeah, again, yesterday it was bridges, something to think about. Today it's aviation, just something to think about. And do we got time for one more real quick?
Yes.
Yes, no. Y'all heard about what happened with Salinas? So the woman who murdered Tejano superstar Selena has been denied
her ass
parole.
in jail.
Yeah, so the Texas Department of Criminal Justice says Yolanda Saldívar did not pass her parole review process. It'll be 30 years to the day next Monday that Saldívar shot and killed the singer in a hotel in Corpus Christi, Texas. Now, Saldívar was the president of Selena's fan club, and the star had just found out she was embezzling from her when she confronted her. Saldívar is now 64, and she is serving a life sentence for Selena's murder. Her next parole review date will be 1 to 5 years from now. So, yeah, anything for Selena's, you know. But that's your front page news.
You're not going to rep, NB?
I'm black, sir.
Oh.
I'm black, sir.
Yeah.
You're not going to rep for Selena?
I'm black, sir.
Okay.
Oh, man.
I know a lot of Dominican Americans have a very strong appreciation to the music and legacy of Selena.
Of course.
You know,
That's right.
so rep.
Oh, my God. Don't just put them on.
Hey, yo,
We all love Selena's. You know, anything for Selena's, but that's your front page news.
Why
Y'all
are you
can
putting the S on it?
you didn't see the movie?
No.
Yeah, but they say Salinas.
Yes, they say anything for basically her family had broke down on the side of the road, and when they found out, they were asking for help, and these guys pulled up. Very, I hate to say, stereotypical kind of like scene, but when they went to help the family, they were like, yeah, anything for Selena's.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it was S on the end.
Jump in. NB.
No, it's not.
This is crazy.
It's really not. It was just very
Stereotypical
stereotypical type of scene is all.
This bumper's gonna go on the wall of my garage, carnal. I'm gonna put a little sign under it. It's gonna say, this bumper was pulled off by the bus of Salinas. ¿Verdad tú? I mean, anything for Salinas.
Anything for Selena. They were not saying that. Salinas with an S.
But yeah, nah. I mean, you know, Selena, we like Selena anyway. So that's your front page news. Follow me on social at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, make sure you're following at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com. Thank you. Have a great weekend and happy Friday to y'all.
Salute to Selena. Very tragic story. I know nothing about Selena. I know about the movie that Jennifer Lopez was in, and that's it.
I'm not.
You should know as a Dominican man.
I don't even know a song.
It was a long time ago.
She had to learn Spanish. She wasn't even singing. She had to learn Spanish to sing those songs in Spanish.
That's right. That's right.
But NB knows Spanish. He tries to act like he don't know because he be out here trying to act black.
K?
Hey, yo.
K is crazy. Listen, loco.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.